All right, let me just check everything here, make sure the software is all going correctly. All right. I think we're good. So my name's John. I'm the owner of Farm Stand Revival, a multiple six-figure digital marketing agency that works with some of the top seed tool and education companies inside of farming. I'm here today to help answer some questions for farmers that they've submitted through our free online community to help them with their marketing. So we'll dive into those questions and hopefully help some others in the process. So I'm going to switch screens here. We'll take a look. All right. So heading over to the online community now. This is free to sign up. If you go to the link in the profile, you should be able to find this. Today is Marketing Monday, and we're going over some marketing questions. So let's go find those now inside the community. We'll go to the classroom and then Marketing Monday. And here's the questions that have been submitted by farmers today. All right, first is Kelly's question. So my current situation is that I consider myself a homestead lady in waiting, currently looking for my homestead property. So I do small things at home, learning new skills like cooking from scratch, canning, and learning about what I don't know so I can learn about them now so I don't have to learn so much maybe later and can hit the ground running when I find my homestead property. My questions are, I have never done marketing before, so I don't know anything about the subject or what they ask. Where do I start? So when it comes to marketing for a farm, simple answer to that is we want to follow the three main pillars of marketing, right? So you want to make sure you build your website and then you've optimized your website. Secondly, you want to make sure email marketing is the top priority for your business. You want to make sure you've got some kind of place to put those emails when you collect the email addresses. So we call those CRMs or customer relation manager. It's just a fancy word for a place to put all of your emails you've collected and to have automations and follow-ups with your customers via email. The most commonly used one is MailChimp, all one word. And MailChimp is great because you can just YouTube anything and find an answer to your question as you start to utilize a software like MailChimp for your email marketing. Super important, follow that process. Make sure you build your website, build out your email marketing, and then build out your social media channels, right? So I love the website because it's 24-hour salesman for your business. It's always working and up and running. And anytime someone clicks or finds out about you, they get to learn more and even purchase from you on your website, right? So we have to have our website too. We have to have our email marketing. Every dollar you put in email marketing, you make 42 in return on average for a business. So super important. It's the most important marketing channel you can focus on, okay? Number 3 is social media. It takes a lot of time, especially if you are a scroller rather than a utilizer of that platform. You don't want to be what they can call a user, right? Just like a drug user. You don't want to be a social media user. You want to be contributing to the platform more than you're consuming it, right? So when you get in there, make sure you have a plan of action, have your 3 posts you want to upload and schedule or however you want to approach it, but you want to make sure you're putting into the platform and not consuming from the platform. That's probably the biggest time waster for every business owner is they think I have to grow on social media, then they get in there and they're just scrolling, right? And it feels like learning, it feels like you're growing, but you're actually just burning time. So now you've got your social media platforms built and you're starting to post to them. Think of it less about building a follower base and more about connecting with others in your local area, especially if you sell products or services locally, right? So you want to make sure you're utilizing it as a social network, not social media, right? It's not just about what you're posting, the media you're posting, it's about who you're networking with on these platforms. You can go further and further telling people about your business organically if you're using it to network, if you're commenting on other people's posts that are maybe in your local geographic area inside of these social media platforms. Maybe they're followers of similar but different businesses in your local area. You can comment on their posts. You can direct message them. Anyone that gets a direct message or even a comment on their social media platforms is likely going to click on you and look at your profile and learn about you, right? So while you're giving to these networking platforms in the form of networking with your local audiences, you're also receiving attention too, right? So that's what I would utilize it for. Worry less about growing your follower base and worry more about using social media to network with your local audience, right? Okay, so we've got those 3 pillars. That's the first thing I would say. Where to start with your question, Kelly, is to follow those 3 pillars of digital marketing. Okay. What are good options for free or almost free website creating tools? Okay. So when it comes to creating your website, there's a bunch of different ways to do it. I would say start with what your offer is to the marketplace, right? So if you're providing digital courses and online schools, those types of things, I would go with Kajabi as your best website platform. If you're providing e-commerce physical products, maybe you have a tool you're selling, then I would focus more on an e-commerce platform like Shopify. What most farmers are selling is local produce or some kind of local product and maybe some local services like farm tours or educational opportunities. So that being said, I would go with maybe Wix or Squarespace. They tend to be the most commonly used and user friendly for beginners. Um, there are options like WordPress.org or WordPress.com, but it gets a little bit in the weeds over there. So WordPress.org is a free software mostly used by massive companies, and it's because it's very customizable. If you have a full-time developer and you want to go through WordPress.org for free and utilize that, great. It's a little bit buggy and can cause problems. That's why you can do a lot with the software, but you really need someone that knows what they're doing if you're going to go with WordPress.org. Then there's WordPress.com, which is much like Squarespace or Wix, Wix, Wix. Those are all just website builders that have some integrations, and they do all have monthly costs to them because, again, this is your 24-hour salesman for your business. You really kind of want to invest in email marketing in your website, right? So if you're going to invest in marketing, those are the places to do it. So there's going to be some costs associated with it, but well worth it. Okay. So look into Squarespace, Wix, or WordPress.org. Okay. And yeah, just think about what your offer is to the marketplace as you decide which platform to go with. All right. So number 3 from Kelly, what are other options? I also watched the video with Joel Salatin where you made a mention of an AI tool to use to post to multiple social media outlets. So this is a question of how, when I post one thing out to, say, Instagram, can I get that one post to also go onto several different social media platforms all at once? There is a software that can do this, and it saves my clients tons of time and allows them to grow and be omnipresent, is what we call it in marketing, where you're on multiple places. The way you can do that is through repurpose.io. It's an AI software that's just, honestly, it's amazing. It does have a monthly cost with it. There's an affiliate link. If you go to marketing tools inside the community, you'll see repurpose.io in the list of tools there that I recommend for my clients and for my marketing agency. You can just click on that repurpose.io if you're interested in that. But the cool part is you post one thing and then that AI software will take the picture or video along with the caption and repurpose it onto all the other platforms. So Snapchat, Twitter, YouTube, Facebook, you name it, LinkedIn. It's impressive how many other platforms it'll post out to. So all you do is you just connect in your social media accounts into the software and then just automate it so that anytime you post on Instagram, it'll notice it and then repurpose it over to these other platforms for you. Okay, so that one's called repurpose.io, AI software. One of my top recommended AI softwares. If you can't beat them, join them when it comes to AI. And that's really what it's going to come down to the next few years here when it comes to marketing, is who is using the most advanced AI practices to create a brand or a business. You want to grab the attention and go further and faster, right? That's the whole goal of marketing, is to grab people's attention, kind of say, hey, I'm over here. Utilizing AI softwares is kind of the next step in the future as to how to do that. Okay. Let's see. When creating a free website, what keeps people from stealing your farm name, website name for your farm? Keep it really simple. When you are creating your business, what I like to encourage farmers to do is first go to Google, type in your business name. If it's not pinging with other people, that are utilizing that name, that's one step closer, right? Then go to social media, type in that business name as what they call a handle on Instagram. So I don't know, say it's like Brown Eagle Farm, right? You type in Brown Eagle Farm and see if anything else shows up when you type in that search inquiry into Instagram. Do the same thing on maybe YouTube, and the same thing on Facebook. Any social media platform you want to build out, make sure that other competitors aren't utilizing that name, right? So if you find a name that's not easily searchable on Google with someone else that's already using it, and it's available on social media, then I would go and take the next step, which is go and grab that domain and purchase that domain, right? So make sure it's available there. If it's available on Google, social media, and the domain is purchasable, you've got a good name that no one else is competing for currently or utilizing currently. So that's a great place to start. Okay, so that's what I'd recommend for you. Let's see. Do you have to pay for a domain? And what is a domain? Okay, so these are great questions. To keep things simple, it gets really confusing. So I like to use the house analogy, right? So when you are going to build a house, you have to get an address, right? So you might go to the city and you say, hey, I'd like to purchase this plot of land. What would the address be? Right? So that is your domain registrar, the city, right? They're going to tell you, hey, the address is 123 Elmer Street, right? And then that's the same thing in the digital world, right? For your website, you need to go to a domain registrar, someone that's holding on to all of these domains, right? So that might be like GoDaddy is probably the most commonly known one. So you go to your registrar, say GoDaddy.com, and you type in the domain you want to buy. They say, yes, it's available. You've now have your own custom domain that you've purchased from your registrar. There is a cost. I want to say anywhere between 10 to 15 bucks per year is what I want to say. And it renews. You have to pay that every year to maintain that domain, right? So it's almost like a rental. Anyways, you've now got your domain, your custom domain for your business, and you want to now have an address for your house. You now want to connect your house into the city, right? So the way you connect your domain in the digital world, your website, is you have a place to host your domain. So what that looks like is, in the house analogy, say you've built a house, you now have a house, you've talked to the city, they've given you an address, you need to connect the house onto that chunk of land, connect the piping, the wires, whatever. You're connecting your house onto that domain or onto that address, right? So your website, if say you built a beautiful website, you know to connect your website into the internet where it's going to be hosted, right? So in the house analogy, it's your website, right? So to go through this again, you've got your domain registrar, that's like the city. You've got your domain, that's your address, right, for your website. And now your website needs to be hosted on the internet, right? So you've now connected your website or your house into the city, and it's now complete. You've got your registrar, your domain, your hosting, and your website is now built, right? Same thing for the house. You've got your address, you've connected into the municipalities, and you've got your house now sat on that land. So hopefully that helps. As you're going through this process, it's literally step by step. Go to GoDaddy, get your domain. Now you've got your domain, you need to host it. Most of these places provide website builders and hosting in the same software. So go to Wix.com, connect your custom domain into your website host / builder, and now you build your website in Wix.com. So everything's all flowing nicely. So that's how you create your website, domain, hosting, builder. Okay. All right. So you ask about taglines too. What is a tagline? Think of a tagline as like a few word elevator pitch. What is an elevator pitch? Imagine yourself in an elevator with a complete stranger. And as you're going down 2 or 3 floors, you've got like 30 seconds. They ask you, oh, what's your business? You need to explain what your business is. What problem do you solve by providing your product or service in the marketplace? That's your elevator pitch. In 30 seconds, you need to just be able to explain what problem your business solves. Same thing with your tagline. It's kind of this motivational, transformational, very, very tight, right? So it's almost like you step on the elevator, you step back off, boom. So for Home Depot, how doers get more done. Or McDonald's, I'm loving it, right? These are all transformational. It's not Home Depot, uh, great supplier of local uh, tools and wood. I don't know, but it's you're not just describing the features. You're describing the benefit or the transformation that your business provides, and your tagline is the goal of a tagline. So that's my 2 cents. I wouldn't sweat it so much. There's lots of things to worry about when it comes to marketing. Tagline, just it'll come. But for now, you just kind of need to find out what your offer is to the marketplace. What problem are you solving? Put up a website, start collecting emails, build your social media accounts, do this bit by bit. Don't get overwhelmed with the millions of things you could do in marketing, including worrying about things like competitors taking your name after you've created your business, or a tagline, these types of things. Think of those as all kind of secondary, right? You just want to focus on the most important stuff in the beginning. Keep it simple. All right, let's switch over to the community and we'll take another look at what else we've got for questions that are coming in. Okay, Donna asks, my current situation is that I start growing vegetables and herbs to sell to the local farmers market. And then I don't have enough to sell. I volunteer at the market and sell eggs each week, but my regular customers buy the eggs quickly. I share both space. I share booth space, so I am not sitting there with an empty table for hours. One, I look at different farmers' booths and what they sell. I look at their prices and their signs. Why do some sell so much more than others? That is a great question. I would say there's a million different ways we can go there. It's really tough, but I would say, look at the things like time. How long has that farm been around? Look at things like their pricing. Look at their quality. Look at their marketing. If there is a leader in your local area, find what's working well for them and try to replicate that. Now, don't do a carbon copy of exactly what they're doing, right? No one likes someone to be just a copycat. But just like in art, if there's a certain style of art that's trending during your era, then you should probably focus on what the market is asking for when it comes to creating art. Same thing for your marketing. If someone is knocking it out of the park locally and you sell a similar or exact same product or service to the marketplace, there's probably something that they're doing correctly that you can implement in your business as well, right? So that's what I would say is when it comes to those other farmers, there's always going to be someone that's bigger and better, right? Even a rich person, they buy a house, the first thing they'll tell you is, oh, you think I'm rich? Look at my neighbor, right? So don't focus on those other guys, especially when you're starting. Just focus on yourself. If you provide consistency and quality to the marketplace, they will reward you with return customers, right? When you have a product that is a consumable, meaning it's there, you sell it, and then it's consumed, and you need to sell it again to that person, consistency and quality are the keys to success to get them to come back. Because your goal isn't to just acquire new customers. They buy once and then never come back again. Your focus is to get customers to come back again and again and again, right? Customer retention is super important for any business that offers a consumable to the marketplace, like lettuce, right? Or grass finished beef. You just want to provide a consistent quality product to increase your customer return rates, right? So that's where I would focus and worry less about your neighbor and focus on what you're providing to the marketplace. But yeah, that opens a whole can of worms that I probably can't answer in just a few minutes here. Okay, your number 2 question: what can farmers markets managers do to draw more customers to the market? Okay. So what can farmers market managers do to draw more customers to the market? They post on Facebook, Instagram, have permanent signs, and put up flags, such fluttering signs at the market space on market days. Part of my job is to put the signs in. Okay. So what can farmers market managers do to draw more attention to the market? It sounds like you're doing a lot of traditional advertising where we're putting up signs, maybe billboards, or print things in the mail for local people. There's lots of things you can do in the traditional sense when it comes to marketing. But what are you doing in the digital sense when it comes to marketing? It would be my question for that farmer's market. What does your website look like? What does your advertising look like? Are you running Google Ads? When someone types in farmers market near me, are you the first farmers market to pop up? If not, maybe getting in front of your target audience with some Google Ads where people are typing in that search inquiry and you're popping up first through advertising could help drive traffic to your farmers market. Facebook ads is a great way to go about local advertising too. Even if you just do a budget of like $5 per day and you just run the Facebook ads, maybe during the whole season of the farmers market or just a few days before the farmers market, you turn them on and off. However you can do it, but that would be a great way to get people to know about your farmers market in your local area, because within Facebook ads, you can adjust how wide you want those advertisements to be spread out in your local area by the mile. So you can find a center point in your local area and then say, I want a 15-mile radius of advertising around this specific area. So that's what I would recommend for you. Is it sounds like you're doing everything right traditionally when it comes to traditional advertising, but maybe step into the digital marketing or digital advertising world and see if there's any advertising dollars you can put into growing that farmer's market. If not, then it means you can't spend money to grow. It means you have to spend your time to grow, right? So what can that farm manager do digitally to grow the business by spending their time growing the business digitally? So posting on social media, interacting or networking with similar but different businesses, finding where your target audience is and letting them know you exist. Okay, let's move on to the next question. Number 3 years ago, our market attendee numbers were over 1,000. This year, we were in the 300 to 400 range. How do we get people? Each week, there are new people who didn't know there was a weekly market. We do have some regular visitors, but many just moved here and are learning where to find fresh food. So, yeah, it's a little concerning, right? So if I was a business and I was saying, hey, once a week I used to get 1,000 people coming into my shop, and now I've only got 300 or 400. I've lost, I'm down to a third of the audience that I used to have 3 years ago. I would say that's a business that's in the failing kind of direction, right? We can't keep trending in this direction. So what can we do to turn this around? I would say first, take a big picture approach. Pretend you're a newbie to the area. Is there a new competitor that has moved in and is competing with you guys, right? So is there another farmer's market that is outshining you? And if so, what are they doing right? And how can we introduce that into our farmer's market, right? So it all comes down to your offer. Even as a farmer's market and a farmer's market manager, while you have several individual booths, big picture, what is the offer you're providing to your community as a farmer's market manager? Are you creating an experience for people that they want to come in and interact? Are the booths that you've brought into your farmer's market providing consistency and quality to the market, right? Maybe you have too few booths, right? There's lots of things that you need to just take a big picture look at your farmer's market, see what your strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats are. So what we call that marketing is a SWOT analysis, SWOT. Okay, so SWOT analysis. And what you do, you can just type this into Google SWOT analysis. It'll give you kind of like a table. Every business should do this. Say you're applying for a $100,000 loan to a bank, they'd want to know a SWOT analysis for your business before they give you money to loan you, right? So that's what I would recommend for this farmer's market is sit down and have a real honest conversation as to what your market strengths are, what your market weaknesses are. And if you don't know what your weaknesses are, start talking to your local shoppers and maybe people that in your local area that don't even know you exist and where they go and why they choose to shop in those places, right? So find out what your weaknesses are. The better job you do talking to your customer or your ideal target customer, the better you'll understand what your weaknesses are. Okay. So know your strengths, know your weaknesses, and then know your opportunities. Where could you improve to drive people back into your farmers market. Why have we lost so many people, and how can we bring them back, right? Because word of mouth is important. And once you understand your opportunities, find the ones that will be the least amount of work and create the most amount of change, right? So you focus on those opportunities to improve. Maybe you need to change out the farmer that's providing produce to your local market. Maybe they have tons of GMOs and pesticides, and it's not what the market trend is for local food right now. And you need to bring in somebody that's providing that market need, right? Of consistency and quality, whatever that looks like. Or maybe you're not providing a experience. Maybe all the booths are spread out. There's nowhere to sit or take pictures or eat or have a good time. Those are all things to consider. So I could go on this forever, but after you've identified your strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, lastly, you need to figure out your threats. Are they going somewhere else? Is it easier just to go to Walmart's produce section instead of come to your local farmer's market, right? Are you out of the way? There's just millions of questions I would have to dig deeper into that with you, but that's where I would start if I was to come in and help that farmer's market with their marketing, is do a SWOT analysis and talk to your target audience to find out why we're trending down so that we can bring the farmer's market back to life. That's what it's all about. So I named my business Farm Stand Revival, is because I'm passionate about seeing farm stands thrive, including farmers markets. Okay. All right. Last set of questions here. We're going to talk about some of the questions Tracy asked. Okay. So we'll drop over into that screen share and we'll take a look. Tracy asks, my current situation is I run a small, sustainable farm in West Central Indiana, focusing on regenerative agriculture. I offer free-range eggs, seasonal products like rabbit and chicken meat, and I'm building a strong community connection through our farm story and values. Recently, I've been working to refine my marketing to better reach my ideal client profile and drive engagement through our website, social media, and email campaigns. Perfect. She's doing everything there. So 3 questions are, how can I effectively communicate our seasonal limitations, like pausing new egg customers, while keeping potential customers engaged and interested for future availability? Okay, so let's switch screens here. So really what we're asking here is, I have seasonal limitations to the products I'm providing to my local community, as most farmers probably do, right? So how do I keep in touch with them? How do I get them to buy again, right? So if I stop selling something in the fall, winter, I'm not selling anything, and then things start back up in the spring, how do I keep my customers engaged? I would say there's still things that you're doing even in the slower seasons on your farm that your customer would want to know or learn about to stay engaged with you. So the direction I want you to go is to focus on email marketing. Still tell your story even in the slower seasons. Things are calm at the farm this week. We got a new shipment of this. We can't wait to implement this next year. Whatever that is, just talk about your day in the life. Even when everything is brown and dead on your farm, it's still a place for escape for someone that's stuck in a cubicle and bored out of their minds, right? They want to see what your day-to-day looks like on your homestead or your farm. It's still special and important, even when you don't think it is. And keep in mind, your common knowledge isn't common. So maybe there's some tips that you've learned throughout the year that you can provide even in the slower seasons through your email marketing, and just have that touch point of them seeing you as a local leader, an educator, and to see your day-to-day on your farm. So that's where I would start, right? If you want to see your CSA be successful, have a great marketing strategy during your slow season that keeps your target audience engaged even when they're not purchasing from you, right? So maintain that once a week email marketing campaign and keep reaching out to them and telling them about what's going on in your farm and providing them value through your emails. You'll notice your drop-off rate of your CSA will significantly improve if you have a slow season marketing strategy you're implementing, right? Don't just disappear. Okay, that was our last CSA for the season. Bye, guys. We'll see you in the spring. And then disappear for 3 or 4 months and wonder why 50% of your CSA members don't come back, right? It's because you haven't maintained a relationship with your customers. It's not just transactional money for a product or service. Build that relationship with your customers, provide them value, use your common knowledge, and give them tips or tricks. Give them day-to-day life on the farm updates. Okay, super important. So that's how you can keep them engaged. Don't forget, having limited supplies of things isn't necessarily a bad thing either, right? Because by having and telling them, hey, I've only got 3 more CSA shares left for this spring, be sure to purchase them now. That will incentivize purchase and conversions, right? So in marketing, we call that scarcity, right? There's only this many left, buy them now or never, right? Or the other marketing trick is urgency. All right, my eggs are available this Saturday. First come, first serve. Once they're gone, they're gone. You have till this Saturday to sign up for your CSA share. Setting a hard date is really great for driving conversions for your business to get people to finally sign up for things. I've put off CSA signups. I've seen it farm advertising, hey, local CSA is available. Okay, I'll get around to it when I get some time. But there's nothing that'll make someone move and act than scarcity and urgency. We're taking signups for our CSA, so you haven't sold out of them all, but you still say, hey, this Friday, that's it. We need you to sign up by this Friday. It'll get people to move. You'll see your biggest spike of any campaign on the last day of your campaign when you tell them it's now or never, midnight tonight. Worst case scenario, say you still don't sell at your CSA. By doing that, you can reopen a week later for a 48-hour extension, right? So there's all these marketing tricks you can try to improve your customer retention and keep those seasonal products. And if you're running out of them, it's a good problem to have, right? But just communicate that to your target audience. And if you sell it every year, you probably need to raise your price, right? All right, number 2 question from Tracy. What's the best way to introduce a new service, like our pen pal connections, in a way that excites and resonates with our audience? Let's see. What's the best way to introduce a new service? So first, talk to people about it is what I would say. A lot of times businesses focus on things that they think are going to be an awesome value add to the marketplace, and then it might fall flat, right? Or it might be even more awesome than they were expecting. But I would say first survey your audience and be like, hey, we're thinking about doing on-farm tours. Would that be of interest for you? Yeah. Okay. What's the most amount you would pay for that? What's the least amount you would pay for that? Those are the types of questions you need to ask before you open any new sales enterprise on your farm. So with this pen pal connections, I'm not quite sure what that service will be. It sounds like somehow you're going to be writing letters back and forth between the farmer and the members, CSA members or customers. I'm not sure, or maybe between each other. But anyways, it's the best way to introduce this new service? Do it organically. If it's a boom, organically, right? If you've sent out emails to your email list and tons of people are signing up, and they think this is an awesome value add service, then you've had success by promoting it organically through email, social media, maybe a certain section of your website promotes it. You're getting tons of signups. You know you've got something, and you should maybe start going from just organic promotion to maybe even paid advertising promoting. Okay. Number 3, are there any tips for increasing engagement on platforms like Instagram and Facebook when most of my farmers aren't local to my farm? So Tracy's doing a good job in realizing that it's not just about growing a massive audience on her social media platforms, but it's about growing a local audience of people who can actually purchase from her, right? I would rather 100 local followers than 10,000 international followers or national followers that will never purchase from me, right? So know your offer and know your target audience. Tracy is showing that she understands she doesn't want just followers, but she wants people who are local that can actually purchase from her to be the ones that are engaging with her on social media and following her farm. So how do you increase engagement on these platforms? What I would do is I would go onto Instagram. Instagram still has really great reach rates. You can go onto Instagram, type in your local city and state, find other people that are posting pictures and commenting and engaging with any type of content that has the city and state location tag in that content. And I would start engaging. I would go find that post and say, oh, this is great. I love this, I don't know, local landmark. I've been up there 3 times this spring on a hike. And then they'll see that you commented on their post. They'll click you. They'll look at your profile. Oh, they're right down the street. I know they had a local farm stand right here. I got to go check that out. Right. So if you do, I don't know, 20 comments and 10 DMs every day, you will see your business start to snowball in a direction that'll drive local people finding out about your local business. You're networking on these platforms. You're not just posting content and hoping it goes viral and everyone around the world sees it. You're intentionally getting on these social media platforms to network locally. So that's commenting and direct messaging people that are local, right? So another trick too that I've seen farmers utilize is they go on Facebook and they find local communities, local Facebook communities, maybe like, I don't know, local yard sale items or local mom groups or whatever that looks like. Getting in there and connecting, right? The admins of these local Facebook groups probably won't appreciate you just posting a picture and a promotional whatever inside these groups, but you can go on there as your business and say, hey, yeah, that's really cool. I didn't think of that. Or these are really cool. I bought 2 of these myself and we utilize them every week or whatever. You're just engaging inside these communities, representing your business. And the same thing's going to happen. They're going to go, who is this person that just commented on my post? Oh, that's cool. They're local. Oh, here's their website. Oh, I'll give them my email address if I can get their free recipe book or whatever that looks like. But you're spending your time to utilize these social networks to grow a local audience. So those are my tips. Think less about engagement, getting likes and comments and follows, and think more about engaging, not receiving, but giving out, right? So don't sweat too much about what you're posting into the world. It is good to post. It is good to provide updates to the people that are following you and utilize these social platforms. But if you are in the startup phase and you are looking for a local audience to sell your product or service to, you need to get on there and network. You need to interact. You need to be the engager rather than how can I get more engagement? You need to be the engager. You need to go out and engage with your target local audience. So lastly, I think we'll wrap up here on this is you're going to use location tagging and engage with those people on Instagram. You're going to go on Facebook, join local communities. And thirdly, I would recommend anytime you can get on these social media platforms and find similar but different businesses to shoulder with, that'd be great. So if there's a local baker that's just knocking it out of the park in your local area, and you say, hey, I grow flowers. I've got a ton of excess this week. The farmer's market, it rained. Can I come to your bakery and hand out sunflowers to everyone that comes in? They're like, yeah, this is awesome. Bring it. You know, you're a similar but different business. You're not my competitor. And you're going to add value to anyone that comes to my bakery by giving them a sunflower or a bouquet or something. Awesome. Right. So now you've partnered with a similar but different business and you can organically grow. So same thing, you don't have to just do this in person and knock on the door and go door to door. Do this through social media. Find that similar but different business that provides something to your local audience and reach out to them. Send them a direct message. Hey, I'd love to come by and learn more about you guys. I'm also a local business in the area. And see how you can partner together and share those audiences, right? It's not try to shift your mindset from a scarcity mindset, like I have to do this all by myself and I can't tell anyone and I can't share my target audience or my tricks or the things I've learned. Think of it as more as an abundance mindset, right? You're all in it together and you're all trying to share why it's valuable for people to invest in their local economies and their local businesses, right? So use social media to network with similar but different businesses and open up these opportunities that you may not have had otherwise. But yeah, that wraps up today's questions. Again, if you are interested and you want to learn more about farm marketing tips, we do Marketing Mondays inside of our free online community. You just go to school.com/farmstandrevival. Okay. There you can sign up and join. We also have master classes from farming experts like Joel Salatin this month. And next month, will be Lisa Mason Ziegler, a 25 plus year flower farmer who sits down and talks with us on how to build a $100,000 per year flower farm. She also will be sitting down and doing a live Q&A with us in January. Joel Salatin will be doing the same in January. He was scheduled to do it in December, but had to change the date. So hopefully in January, we will have Joel Salatin doing a live Q&A with us, along with Lisa Mason Ziegler, a flower farmer. All right, so go check that out, Farm Stand Revival. And you can find us on Instagram and just click the link to learn more. All right, thanks for taking the time. I hope to hear more questions, and we'll do this again in a couple weeks. Thanks. Bye.